Although I'm in a sort of limbo state right now where I'm waiting for my novel to be sent back to me, this sort of quiet period of time has given me a really good opportunity to reassess what I want to do, especially from like more of a career standpoint. It's interesting that when you don't have anything to do, when you can kind of just wake up, go to your computer, and basically have free reign for 90 minutes to kind of figure out whatever project you want to work on, the sort of things that come to your mind, the sort of things you begin to reconsider, ideas that have always been kind of in the back of your head, but you haven't ever really given attention and may not have even recognized that you were thinking about these things until they come to the forefront. And the big thing that's really begun to come over me now is this feeling that I need to reassess where I'm headed. It's not just the day job or the writing, it's sort of everything. What I want my life in a sense to look like. I've gone through these stages before. This was obviously how I was feeling right before I took my sabbatical when I first started this channel here almost 500 days ago. I went through that period where I was kind of reassessing what do I want. I went through it again a bit when I'd kind of rejoined the workforce later the summer of last year. But I haven't had a chance to really reassess what I want. In other words, what do I want my writing career to potentially look like? What do I want sort of my day job work to look like? Is there work as far as a day job that's made more aligned with writing? Where's my balance between my passion for writing and the enjoyment I get out of personal training? Where does that come in? Is there a way to readjust that? Am I more interested now in more writing based work, what have you? And this period of time has been excellent to help me reassess that, to really kind of resharpen what I want to do. It feels like a lot of it was sort of the small things that were kind of forced, obviously. My decision to go with the self-publishing route, or not have my novel come out at all, basically, sort of pushed me in one particular direction with the writing aspect. But on a much deeper level, it's given me a chance now to really see in totality what I want. And it's important in this stage to not get caught up in the grass is greener on the other side mentality. That's very, very important. I think a lot of people begin to reassess, their lives and circumstances when things are obviously not well, and they think that making a sort of jump or a change is what will sort of improve their lives, being either a new job or a new career path. Perhaps your relationship with someone and you end it and you go to someone else. And that could very well be true. It might be you need to leave that environment. But it also could be true that maybe you're going through sort of a tough sticking point in that you're sort of just looking for the easiest way out of the situation rather than potentially looking at the advantages of sticking through it, of putting perspective in. If you start a job and you've been there for say a year and you're getting angry that you haven't been promoted, you haven't found quote unquote fulfillment, whatever, it might just be that you're looking for the easiest way out in the immediate sense, that if you put more time, if you invested more into this venture here, you might find that it actually does have that payoff you're looking for, that you just haven't put enough time in to the project to really see things, to see the fruitful nature of it, and that it's just impatience that's causing that. very, very important. That's something I've had to consider as well with this. Certainly, I've only been at this current job for about a year, and I don't at this time have any kind of an intention of actually leaving that per se, but more seeing in a very broad sense, what can I do to expand that? What can I do to add more into my life of things that I enjoy? I've got a couple different smallish, like I got my day job plus a couple small revenue streams as well. Part of it comes from just the writing coaching as well as a couple other things. And so it's reassessing, what do I enjoy about that? Do I want to keep going with that? Do I want to look into other avenues, maybe of writing work that, again, have perhaps, might perhaps be a bit more fulfilling, might be a bit more aligned with the sort of work that I enjoy, that might maybe offer me more time to work on my creative projects as well. A lot of things to weigh, but that's what I've been doing these past few days, in addition to kind of what I've talked before about kind of looking into articles and all that stuff on creating audiobooks. Certainly that's part of it, but my focus has been on this side of things for a few days now. Also, why I haven't really had much to talk about. I feel like the past couple sessions, it's these past few videos here, I've sort of been phoning it in, and truly it's just because I've had this kind of thing on my mind, and I wasn't sure how to bring it up, or if I should bring it up or whatever. And I'm not the kind of person that can have something like really big at the forefront of their mind and talk about something else. If it's there at the forefront of my mind, I either have to talk about it, or if I don't, anything else I discuss will always feel very hollow, because there's no, my passion's not into it. I'm very monomaniacally focused on things. I find like one or two things, usually one at a time, and become very obsessive about doing well or trying to mastering that area of life. And so with that, I suppose the point I'm trying to get to this is these assessments need to happen. I think reassessing one's goals and one's ambitions is really, really important. And it needs to be done, I think, at a frequent pace, at least up until maybe, I don't know, I was going to say maybe a certain age, but that might not even be true. But certainly if you're like young, like in your 20s, even like your 30s, I think you have to be really reassessing what you want from things. Better, obviously, would be to sort of figure out what you want to do and be confident in that, and going into that field or that line of work, or going into that kind of lifestyle from the get-go. But often, I think we tend to find our passions and our ambitions through more or less trial and error. We try this thing, it seems cool, we try it for a while, we didn't like it, we move on. And the reassessing process and figuring out what was wrong with what you were doing before, why it wasn't working, and then trying to find something new is super, 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 super important. If you can have that feedback system and you can do a constant reassessment, I think that's awesome. But the only cautionary thing I think to be aware of is simply impatience, and to avoid jumping around to different things. And I can never really say what's the appropriate amount of time to reassess. I can't say it. At my job I did that I hated for a very long time, I gave myself 2 years, and then I was going to reassess. And at the 2-year mark, I was like, no, I'm done here. And so I worked about another year while I was looking for a different line of work. But that's super important, I think, from that standpoint. If you get into something that you're certain you're probably not going to like, what have you, to maybe do it a bit faster than that. I don't know. But frequently checking in with yourself is I think just paramount to being able to kind of navigate where you want to go. I think a lot of people waste a lot of years and a lot of their time in careers and relationships and endeavors that they know are bad for them, but they just stay with it out of just habit, like just stay with them just out of convenience. And for me, that's always the most deadliest thing, is to do anything just for the sake of convenience. That to me is like a pitfall. So I hope this was a bit helpful. If it was, certainly like, share. I appreciate that. Probably my first really good video I've done in quite a while, so if you've enjoyed it and you've kind of stuck around for this video throughout the kind of the worst ones I've put out the past few days, I appreciate that as always. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow.